stories about our parish. That's hard to do. Clappy, 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 clappy. So, no. All right. But the one story was about the kids down at the soup kitchen in Philadelphia, and people often ask, why do you go that far? We have a good soup kitchen right here, and we do. We work here at our soup kitchen, but you find things out about yourself in a deep slump. And it's about humility. Those readings today are very beautiful, and humility comes up every year in the church's reading. So that's why it's called the first of the virtues, humility. So I'm laying there in bed one night. This is many years ago at that soup kitchen down in Philly. And the bed, at least the bed I have, was a plastic bed. Now you have your sheet on it, but it's just, it sweats. It's just not a very, I'm sure it's the cheapest beds they can find because that's all the money they have. And you're laying there getting a miserable night's sleep. And you wake up and you're just not comfortable way to wake up. And I'm kind of complaining. At home I would have a nicer bed. And you look out the window and like there's a dozen homeless men sleeping right on your doorstep. They're sleeping on concrete, maybe a cardboard box. And I'm complaining because the mattress wasn't as comfortable as what I have at home. That's a very humbling insight. Very humbling for me. And then, okay, everybody knows I'm kind of a cheap person when it comes. I very rarely buy clothes. I had a new pair of sneakers because you do a lot of running around and your feet get sore. And sauce got spilled on my shoes, and I was kind of in a miserable mood. Nice, probably $60 pair of sneakers. And later in the meal, I noticed a guy who had duct tape tying his shoes together. And I was complaining because I got sauce on my New Balance sneaker. That is a very humbling experience. Very humbling. And then we went out a year later thinking about those two things. And you can get a Philadelphia steak and cheese sandwich the way it's supposed to be made, and then there are other places that don't make it the way it should be made. And that's what I got. I could have anything I wanted, but I thought it'd be good. It was good, it was fine, but it wasn't the way I wanted it. And then the next day at lunch, the meal they got was just not adequate by an adult standard. It was okay, but it wasn't adequate. Certainly wasn't plentiful. And I was complaining about the steak and cheese sandwich. It wasn't made the way I wanted it. That's a very humbling experience. It makes you realize how good you have it, and how little I appreciate how much I have, and how much you have. That's why humility is the first of all the virtues. And life teaches you about humility where you don't think it's going to happen. The stupid bed or the stupid shoes. And you see that play through, all through life. Now I'll be talking to a kid who failed the class. How'd you fail the class? Well, you could have gotten help. They have tutors. So I don't want to have to ask for help. I never had to ask because he's not humble enough to admit that he's just not good at that subject. But he's too proud to ask for help. So he failed. He failed because he wasn't humble enough to say, I can't do it. I'm not good at math or whatever. I had a problem with this in particular when I was a young priest. They asked somebody else to do the funeral instead of me. Don't they know I'm the only guy who can do it? And I'd run around trying to do every wedding, every funeral. Stupid. There are other good priests around, And you really see it with the older people. My sister and I visit a lot of old people, and every one of them has one fear, and that's that they're going to put him in a nursing home. And nobody wants to go to the nursing home. 0 people want to go to the nursing home. And I said to the one lady about a month ago, you can either be safe or happy. If you stay here, you're going to be happy, but you're not going to be safe. Your daughter's going to come home today, and you're going to be laying on the floor. Well, I don't want to go to the nursing home. At the nursing home, you'll be safe, but I won't be. And it goes back and forth. And she sooner or later, she'll say, I don't want to admit I can't do it anymore. I don't want to admit that to myself, that I can't do it. That Dad can't drive anymore. You're going to kill somebody. But he doesn't want to admit that to me. He's going to lose his car keys. Humility answers those problems. Most of us don't have enough of it. The humble person realizes that what he thinks is a weakness is actually a strength. St. Paul says it's when I'm powerless. That's when I'm strong. When I admit I can't do it anymore. Then you're strong and you get the help you need. You see? How many of us think we're humble enough? Probably none of us are. Let us stand, my friends.